The story begins in the year 1947, in the Soviet Union, a nation still scarred by the remnants of war, but striving forward with determination. Here, we are introduced to a young student named Ludmila Pavlichenko, a bright and ambitious girl who has just successfully cleared her entrance examinations for the state university. She is full of dreams, eager to build a life of knowledge and achievement. To celebrate her academic success, Ludmila joins her friends at a shooting range. What seems like just an evening of fun quickly reveals something extraordinary about her. When she takes the rifle in her hands, her focus sharpens, and with each shot fired, she strikes the target with uncanny precision. Every bullet hits near perfection, shocking those around her. Soon, her remarkable shooting skills reach the ears of the Red Army officials. One of them, deeply impressed by her talent, calls her and encourages her to join their specialized shooting program. At first, Ludmila is hesitant. After all, her life seems set on a different path, one of academics and learning. But the pull of destiny cannot be ignored. She agrees to join the program. However, this decision does not come without resistance. Her father, a stern military officer himself who has lived his entire life in the army, does not want his daughter to go through the same hardships he endured. He knows the brutality of war, the sacrifices it demands, and the countless souls it consumes. He wants Ludmila to live a safe and peaceful life. Yet, Ludmila, with her quiet determination, convinces him. She assures him that this is her calling, and with or without approval, she is ready to serve her country. When she begins her training in the Red Army's program, she meets a young doctor assigned to the camp. Their encounters are brief at first, but slowly, their hearts find one another. The bond between them blossoms into love, and soon they start dreaming of a future together. Marriage, family, and life beyond uniforms and war. One evening, they attend a show together, laughing and dreaming like any young couple in love. But the dream does not last long. The winds of war once again sweep across Europe. News spreads like fire. Germany has attacked Russia. World War II has begun for them. The nation is thrown into chaos, and Ludmila is no longer just a student or a young lover. She becomes a soldier, sworn to defend her land. She takes her position with her fellow soldiers, focusing on her duty. But the war front is merciless. German forces advance with brutal strength. Planes roar in the skies, dropping bombs that light the ground in flames. The battlefield turns into hell, and yet Ludmila stands firm. With her rifle in hand, she takes down German soldiers one after another, her steady aim never faltering. For the enemy, she becomes a nightmare, an invisible hunter striking from the shadows. During one violent clash, the commanding officer of her unit is killed. The soldiers' morale collapses, but Ludmila refuses to surrender. She steps up, her courage inspiring others. Her relentless precision in shooting not only keeps her alive, but terrifies the Germans. To them, she becomes known as the Lady Death, a figure both feared and respected. In the midst of this chaos, another soldier joins her unit, a young woman named Masha. For Ludmila, who had been surrounded mostly by men, Masha becomes a rare friend, someone to share her thoughts with. Their bond grows, and together they fight through blood and fire. Meanwhile, Ludmila develops a complex connection with her captain. Though initially distant, the captain begins to notice her strength and bravery. Ludmila, too, finds herself drawn to him, though he tries to keep his emotions hidden. He reveals his painful past. His entire family was killed during the German invasion. The loss carved a permanent scar in his heart, making him afraid to love again. For him, love only leads to unbearable grief. Yet Ludmila's presence begins to stir emotions he thought were long buried. Time passes, and we see Ludmila attending dinners with her comrades. Masha arrives with her boyfriend, bringing laughter and warmth to the table. But one of their so-called friends crosses the line, attempting to misbehave with Ludmila. Enraged, she fights back and humiliates him in front of everyone. The captain, who witnesses the incident, steps in and supports her, further deepening their unspoken bond. Their closeness grows. One night, as they step out together, their walls crumble, and for the first time, Ludmila and the captain allow themselves to feel the affection they had kept locked inside. In the world of endless death and destruction, they find a small spark of life in each other. But the battlefield allows no luxury of love for long. Soon, their unit is ordered to protect an important border position known as Odessa. As they prepare for the defense, German troops launch a devastating assault. Explosions tear through the ground, and chaos reigns. In the middle of the carnage, Ludmila is caught in a powerful blast. The earth collapses around her, burying her under rubble. The captain rushes to her side, digging through dirt with his bare hands to pull her free. Bruised and broken, she is rushed to a nearby hospital. There, she wakes to the worried face of her beloved doctor, who tries to nurse her back to health. But the war does not wait. She pleads to return to the front lines, desperate to continue fighting for her country. Yet her superiors refuse. "You are not medically fit," they tell her. "You are too valuable, and we cannot risk losing you." Frustrated, Ludmila insists, demanding medical clearance. Her passion and unyielding spirit eventually force her way back to the battlefield. The war front has now shifted to Sevastopol, one of the most critical strongholds. Here, Ludmila meets another soldier, with whom she must partner in missions. At first, their relationship is cold and full of mistrust. But through countless battles, as they fight side by side, their bond strengthens. Together, they eliminate countless German soldiers, working as a deadly pair. Slowly, unspoken affection begins to develop between them. They are comrades, but also something more. Despite this, fear lingers in their hearts. Both know the brutal truth of war. Love has no guarantee here. At any moment, death may come. And so they hesitate, holding back their feelings, unwilling to confess what their hearts already know. And here, the first chapter of Ludmila's journey in war leaves us, standing at the edge of hope and despair, torn between love and duty, survival and sacrifice. As the war deepens, Ludmila and her comrade fight side by side, taking down enemies with unmatched precision. Their partnership grows into something unshakable. Together, they endure nights of endless gunfire, days without rest, and countless brushes with death. Slowly, love blossoms between them, fragile, hesitant, yet undeniable. But the captain, ever haunted by his past, resists fully embracing these feelings. He reminds Ludmila that he once lost everything, his parents, his siblings, everyone he loved, when the Germans attacked. For him, opening his heart again feels like a dangerous weakness. Ludmila listens, but in her heart, she knows she already loves him. Meanwhile, tragedy strikes closer to home. Masha, Ludmila's closest friend, dreams of marrying her beloved boyfriend. Their wedding is planned, their hopes shining like a brief light in the darkness of war. But just a day before the wedding, Masha's fiancé is killed in battle. The news shatters her. Her laughter disappears, her joy extinguished. Ludmila tries to comfort her, but nothing can heal such a wound. The war spares no one. Back on the front lines, Ludmila's love for the captain deepens. One evening, he finally admits what he has long hidden. He loves her too. In that moment, surrounded by ruin and despair, they find happiness in each other's arms. Their love, however brief, becomes a sanctuary. But fate is merciless. During a brutal German assault, the captain shields Ludmila, taking a devastating wound meant for her. She desperately tries to save him, carrying him on her shoulders back to camp through mud, smoke, and fire. But by the time they reach safety, it is too late. The captain succumbs to his injuries, leaving Ludmila broken. Once again, love is ripped from her hands, and her heart is left bleeding. Still, the war does not stop. Orders arrive, she must continue the fight. Ludmila is summoned to pose for a photograph, to be the face of Soviet strength and morale. But when the camera turns toward her, she cannot hide the pain. She forces a smile, yet her eyes fill with tears. Behind the symbol of strength stands a woman who has lost everything she ever loved. Her superiors soon send her on a dangerous mission. The Germans have positioned one of their best snipers, a man infamous for his cruelty and skill. Taking him down is the only way to secure Soviet progress. Ludmila accepts, though her spirit is weary. She positions herself, waiting for the enemy to reveal himself. Hours pass. The night stretches into dawn. Finally, the German sniper appears. They lock eyes through their scopes. Shots ring out. Blood pours from Ludmila's wounds. She collapses, barely conscious, yet still clutching her rifle. The Germans think she is finished. But with her last strength, she pulls the trigger, striking him down. Victory comes, but at the cost of her body and spirit. Badly injured, Ludmila is pulled from the battlefield. Doctors try to save her, but her wounds leave her unfit for combat. Though her heart still yearns to fight, her body refuses. The Red Army decides to remove her from the front lines. In a surprising turn, she is chosen as a representative of the Soviet Union, sent abroad to raise awareness and gather support. Ludmila travels to the United States, where she meets none other than the First Lady of America, Eleanor Roosevelt. Their meeting is historic. Eleanor is deeply impressed by Ludmila's courage and resilience. The young sniper, once just a student, now stands as a symbol of strength and sacrifice. Ludmila gives speeches to crowds in America, her words carrying the pain and pride of her homeland. "I am not here as a hero," she tells them. "I am here as a witness of war, of loss, and of the price we pay for freedom." Her voice touches thousands, inspiring support for the Soviet cause. During her time in America, she also meets a famous singer who is moved by her story. He writes songs dedicated to her bravery, immortalizing her struggle in music. For the world, she becomes a legend, the Lady Death, the sniper who killed hundreds, the woman who stood against tyranny. But behind the legend remains the same Ludmila, carrying scars that never truly heal. Years pass. The war ends and life slowly changes. In 1957, we see Ludmila again, now in Moscow. She is older, wiser, and a mother to a young son. Her life has shifted from the battlefield to family. Though she has endured unimaginable pain, she has managed to find fragments of peace. By 1969, her health begins to decline. The years of war and wounds catch up to her. In 1974, at the age of just 58, Ludmila Pavlichenko passes away. The world mourns the loss of a woman who gave everything to her nation. Her story, however, never fades. She remains one of history's greatest snipers, credited with over 300 confirmed kills. But more than that, she remains a symbol of resilience, sacrifice, and the strength of women in the face of unimaginable odds. The film ends reminding us that behind every medal, behind every heroic tale, there is a human heart that bleeds, loves, and breaks. Ludmila Pavlichenko's life is not just a story of war. It is the story of a woman who carried hope through the darkest of times.